What's up, everybody? This is another AnswerStock here with Matthew Owens, the youngest new millionaire in the world. What's up, Matt?
What's up?
The year just finished. The Dow finished down 2%. The NASDAQ was up 5%, and the S&P was down roughly 1%. If you look at my disheveled appearance, I'm going back in time because as of January 1st, 2016, I am trading with just $12,000 again. So I am trying to redo exactly what I was like when I had 12,000. I had a big Jufro, so I've been growing this out in anticipation so that Matt doesn't feel so bad about his hair. And I was working in a robe, so I'm repeating my feat. Do you think I can turn 12,000 into 1.65 million in 4 years, Matty?
I believe you can, Tim.
I don't think I'm going to, but I appreciate your honesty. We're not in that kind of market right now. I don't want you guys thinking that you're all going to turn into millionaires when, Tim Grittani turned 1,500 into a million. We're in the middle of a strong bull market. We are not in that market right now, although you do have craziness like LEI. What do you think about LEI, Matt? Did you see that?
I paid no attention to that.
Did you see the chart?
No.
Type in LEI. Let's see your eyes when you see LEI. Let's see if your hair stands on its whatever.
Wasn't it like in the 10 cents before?
Look up LEI. Look up a one-day chart of LEI. Ooh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Holy shit snacks.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we're not in a bull market, but you do see this craziness like LEI, AQXP, KBIO, VLTC, PBMD, and you see these kind of crazy one-day runners. You're happy that you see it now, huh?
Yeah, it's a sign of the times, my friend.
What do you think is going to happen in 2016?
What do I think is going to happen?
Yeah, if we could do a play-by-play, not the whole year because it's tough to judge 12 months out. But what do you see happening before, March 1st? What do you think the first 2 months? Let's just do that.
I think the first 2 months will go nowhere, honestly. I think we'll be in consolidation. And then as we approach probably the presidential election, if a Republican wins, that's bad news for the markets, to be honest, statistically. And so I think we consolidate. We may break higher. I think there will be like maybe an incessant push, but after it'll be a pop and drop, honestly.
Cool. So I actually think that we're going to be down 5 or 10% in the next few months. I'm kind of hoping for that. I could use a day off. I didn't do this Jufro just because I wanted to go back to my roots. It was just because I haven't had any fucking time. Like the past few weeks have been insane. Mm-hmm. I have a new TV show, Maddie. You're gonna laugh. We start filming next week, so get excited for that. We have some former professional sports stars in it too. So I don't want to tease too much, but let's just say it's going to be interesting. Let's get to a quick question because I know a lot of you guys are loving AnswerStock. I'm sorry we haven't had time to answer a lot of questions. We're too busy talking about each other's hair. So here is
it's like Zoolander.
This is one of the things that I'm going to try and get. I'm going to try and go to the premiere on the red carpet, and I'm going to do that face. Do you want to come?
That would be awesome. I love that.
If I can get tickets, will you dress up as Dumb and Dumber with me?
Of course. I love that movie.
We'll do the Zoolander face with Dumb and Dumber suits at the premiere.
That sounds like a plan.
I think that might be fantastic. This is some people are like, they're emailing me, one of my students, and he's like, you're not professional at all. Like, this is terrible. And I was like, you're right. I'm not professional. I'm real. Deal with it, bitch. Like, this is how I am. This is why I think that I'm a successful teacher. I don't get along with uptight people. I was making like a joke about some movie, and he was like, that's not a professional response. Oh, first question of AnswerStock. This is a question for me. What do you think about The Big Short, the movie, Maddie?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I was very afraid because I've read the Michael Lewis book, and he made it sound like they were just a bunch of lucky gamblers. But the movie actually did a very good job, I think, explaining to the common person what happened in the housing market crisis bubble and how they took advantage of that. Now, it didn't go into the complexities of how they set up their trades. It still came off as kind of Wild West-ish, I would say.
Who
But
do you like better, Margot Robbie or Selena Gomez?
what do you think, Tim?
I don't know. I'm asking you. This is AnswerStock. I want your answer.
Margot.
There you go. So I actually liked the movie. I thought it was well done. It was actually really educational. I can't think of any other movie that is like trying that hard to like educate their audience. I think they tried probably a little too hard. And I don't like the fact when you make $1 billion and you're still screwed up in the head. That's messed up, you know, like, oh, I'm so sad. I made $1 billion. Oh, I won an Oscar nomination. The Daily Show isn't on anymore. Oh,
I actually sympathized.
oh, shut up, you nouveau rich bastard. If you make $1 million or $1 billion, you better love it, okay? The reason why The Wolf of Wall Street did so well is because everybody saw that he made a lot of money, and he had some fucking fun with it. It was illegal money, but at least he had fun. If you make $1 billion and you're still miserable, God, like, that's just pathetic. I'm sorry. That's just disheartening. I was walking out of there and like Christian Bale, like, oh, look at my glass eye. I want to be Daniel Day-Lewis in the, Gangs of New York, but I can't be because I'm Christian Bale. Like, it's just, I don't know. That's what I thought.
I thought it was well done, though. Overall.
It was well done overall. First question from Aaron. Aaron says, let's see. What do you do, Matt, with breaking news, like with an earnings win? Do you read the entire news, or do you put in an order and then read half of it? How does it work with, breaking news and fast-moving stocks?
So I just look for some key pieces of information when I read that. Did they beat their revenue or what the contract was? These are all key things I look for. I generally will not hop into a trade, though, if I haven't read the full report. That's just me as a person. So
for me, sometimes you have a very positive earnings report, and then the conference call, the CEO says something really negative. So you can't just go based on the numbers alone. For me, I look at the earnings, but I also want to see the reaction, and ideally I'm trading the next day because there's so much time with earnings. A lot of people think that you have to be in this breaking news kind of game. That's no way to live. You end up with hair looking like ours where you can't even get a haircut because you're always looking for breaking news. And really, analysts and the press, they don't even really write about anything until like the next day. So you have a ton of time for a potential catalyst of news or an analyst upgrade, which is what I look for on earnings plays. So don't feel like you have to do it right away. You never have to get into a trade if you're confused, unless like you see like, I don't know. I bought Facebook's earnings a while back when it was really breaking out in the low 30s. And, the press release was so positive revenue growth. It was obvious this was a huge turning point and a catalyst. I held on for like a whopping like 75 cents a share, and it went up $70 a share. But the point is sometimes you'll see something so great, and that is when you don't really necessarily have to read the whole thing. You understand the gist. But when there's any kind of like conflicting indicators, you don't need to make a trade. And I'm really looking forward to trading with just 12,000 next year. It's going to make me more choosy on my trades. It's going to make me more patient. And I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'll tell you the truth.
No, I agree with you, Tim. Just one more thing on that. It's just like, for example, what he was talking about by waiting. You can even take bigger companies and they do this, and the CEO will sandbag their guidance, meaning that they could have a blowout earnings report and the CEO could get on there and just start talking about all the things that they're worried about, and the stock will just sink right back down to where it was. So you got to be patient and just, take your time with it. You don't have to get in that day. Sometimes they go off without you, but that's okay.
Cool. We have a question from Zane, and he says, what is the deal with brokers? Should I use your high net worth broker or Interactive Brokers or E-Trade? What broker do you use, Maddie?
I use TradeStation and Thinkorswim, but more so TradeStation just for commission and fee structure.
Cool. Yeah, I'm using Interactive Brokers and E-Trade as my brokers. For 2016 with just 12,000. Interactive Brokers, the minimum is 10,000. If you're under 26, Maddie, are you under 26?
26,000?
No, 26 years old.
I just turned 26.
You're not. It's not applicable anymore. There's a loophole on Interactive Brokers. If you're under the age of 26, you can open an account for 3,000. Some people don't know that.
I did not know that.
You're a millionaire now, so it doesn't even matter. But Interactive Brokers has the worst customer service I've ever seen. Actually, no, probably SureTrader is a little worse.
I was going to say, come on.
But it's bad. But Interactive Brokers is up there, and E-Trade is also good. Another question from Anastasia. Let's see. Ooh, Maddie, you tackle this one. Can you explain in a nutshell what is level 2?
I can explain what level 2 is. I don't use it that much, though.
You explain it. Let's hear what the Professor Hare thinks.
So level 2 is just basically, think of it like an order book where you have buyers and sellers and prices there, and so you could see how many shares someone wants to buy X at like $2 versus how many people want to sell X shares at $2, and it's just an order book. Now the thing with level 2 though that you always got to remember is that you could see the bid, the ask, how many people are participating, what exchanges are participating, but level 2 like can be manipulated, so they can pull their offers off the bid and the ask. And that's why I don't trust it unless I had some kind of algorithmic system that could sniff out that stuff. So
cool. I can't even spell algorithmic, so I do rely on level 2. I use it. It's my main guide for buying breakouts and shorting breakdowns. I want to see, if a stock is close to a breakdown, I don't want there to be a big wall of buyers that I kind of have to break through. I picture my movie analogy, Lord of the Rings. Which movie was it where the orcs are outside and they're fighting like that midnight battle, and you see like
it was the second one,
Two Towers.
The second one, and so the orcs send in their biggest orc, and like they're shooting him with arrows, but he's so big and like he's like basically just an amazing NFL player, and he's just busting down the ramp, and he's filled with explosives. And they shoot him full of arrows, but he still goes in and he blows up the whole castle and little elves go flying. And that's what I think of level 2, where I don't want, to see that kind of a big orc like busting through support. Like if I'm dip buying a stock and there should be, a wall of buyers protecting the whatever the support level is, that's my castle wall. I don't want there to be some big orc blasting through my wall, crushing support, because then it all goes to hell, and unless Gandalf comes with the light of day, like you're screwed. So they got a little
analogy.
You like that?
Yeah, that's really good.
This is what I say with a wall of buyers and a wall of sellers. I want my wall to be secure. I don't want some orc filled with freaking dynamite to blow up my wall if I'm long a stock near support or short a stock near resistance.
But haven't you seen level 2 manipulated?
You see it manipulated a little bit, but for me, I'm using it in conjunction with support and resistance levels. So I don't really care about the little trickery where people put like a fake bid or a fake ask. Like if I see a big order and it's getting chipped away, at support, like what was one the other day? INVT. I was shorting INVT at like 213-ish. It was a blatant pump. Today it came down to the 150s, but there were big bidders at like 207, 206, like 20,000 shares. And they were, even whether they were real or not, they were getting chipped away. So they were basically like that wall in, what is it? Helm's Deep. And so it was basically Helm's Deep, but the orcs kept sending their people with dynamite and they were blowing through it. Although in this case, the orcs were the good guys because it was a blatant pump.
I guess spoofing though doesn't happen that much probably on penny stocks. I've never done an analysis on that, but I know for like Apple and all of that stuff, they play so many games. It's incredible. I
can't trade stocks that trade like 20, 30, 40, 50 million shares a day because there's too many fake orders back and forth. Exactly. I like 2, 3, 4, 5 million shares a day because then you can see these big orders getting chipped away and you can kind of determine if it's going to, crack or not. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying like level 2 is useful. And I think maybe probably for penny stocks, I can see how it's not as manipulated, but for bigger stocks, it can be definitely spoofed a lot.
All right, final question. We have another one from James H. When the market opens and you have your watch list, do you flip through the charts of each ticker, or how does each one of the tickers catch your attention, like the pattern forming? How does this all happen right when the market opens and everything's going crazy? Good question, James.
So what I do personally is I have alerts that are set for key levels. Another thing I do is that in TradeStation, you can make like tabs of all different ticker symbols, and you can just flip through them quickly.
Can you make that with your hands? Can you show us what it looks like? Can you do some like little hand puppets?
Just click through. Yeah.
So you click there and there and there.
Exactly. And obviously, if you have multiple screens, you can put each symbol somewhere. You know, I have screens that go up here and down here and over there. But yeah, so you just keep track of it all. But you don't want to focus on too many things. That's when it gets like like I only focus probably on 2 to 3 things a day. That's it. I don't ever have like 900 windows open trying to focus on all different markets. So just keep it simple.
I agree 100%. I miss plays left and right at the market open, which is tougher for me too, because I'm not just trading at the open. I'm also trying to alert, and it's very difficult to alert anything at the market open, because if you're buying a breakout, by the time they get the alert, like 2, 3, 4 minutes later, the stock might have already have spiked, or the breakout might have failed. So it's very difficult to trade at the market open. So I agree. Just focus on 1 or 2 good plays, earnings winners, shorting pump and dumps. You should come prepared with a plan. Very rarely will you see me trade a stock where I haven't been watching it pre-market, it hasn't been talked about pre-market, or it wasn't on last night's watch list. I'm always trying to have a plan in my head before I risk any money, so I understand if I'm buying an attempted breakout, like what happens if the breakout fails? What's my plan? Exactly. If I'm shorting a pump and dump and I'm aiming for a morning panic, what if that doesn't happen? You okay, Matt? You see me?
Yeah, no, I just ate some.
You have some indigestion there. Yeah. You're making some faces. I can't let the golden boy die like on live video. That would be bad. Just take a breath. Drink some water, man. Do you have some water?
No.
Oh my God. Get some water. Why don't you have water? You got to hydrate. This is my number one lesson today. Too many of you are not hydrating enough when you're looking at the market. I'm serious about this. You gotta really, refill those liquids, not Gatorade bullshit, electrolytes, but just water or coconut water or something.
Or wear a robe.
Well, that's always. This is a self-hydrating robe. I just, it encapsulates all my sweat, and then I reverse osmosis and I drink my own sweat.
That's disgusting.
AnswerStock. You see, I get weirder too when I'm trying to go back to my roots. When I became a millionaire, I calmed down with my weirdness. But
yeah, this reminds me of Wall Street Warriors when you'd walk around in your robe.
This is what I'm saying. I'm recreating everything. I'm trying to put myself in the mindset if I only had $12,000. Because I don't want to be like, the millionaire who's trading with 12,000. I have to literally think I have 12,000. What did I do back then? And you can go and look at my early trades. I was not a good trader. I'm not a great trader right now, but at least I've cut down on the losses. I would make so many stupid mistakes. I would have so many big gains. I was in those Y2K stocks. I remember I went to a Broadway show, the matinee one day, and it was incredible to me. I was in this stock and I had 75% of my net worth, and I got back and, I had lost 15 grand. And this was when I had 60 grand in my name. It's just stupid stuff like that. So I don't know.
You can do it, Tim, though. Seriously.
What?
You can do it. I feel like you're going to have a good opportunity to beat.
I'm going to do it. I'm really excited, for real, to get more patient, to, really give the patterns more time to play out. If I'm in an earnings winner, I might hold it 2 or 3 days, which is tough, when you're up $5 grand and you just want to go watch, your New York Giants lose or something. but
You'll definitely be able to double it. So that's all.
Well, so I actually went back to 12,000 when I first began teaching in late 2007. And it took me 9 months to go from 12 to 25,000 because of the pattern day trader rule. And then by year 3, I was up to 235,000. So, I have done this before with the pattern day trader rule. I didn't have the pattern day trader rule the first time I had 12 grand. So I could trade unlimited. That was instituted in 2001 after I had already made, my first million.
Yeah, but I think that if the market does take a dive, there will be a lot of opportunity to be short. So that's.
There's going to be opportunities to go short or long. The markets were down 1% today, and LEI spikes up 500%. So, it's not just about what the market does. In fact, I don't even really care what the market does. Just personally, I think that we're overdue for a big pullback, or maybe that's just hopeful wishing. I don't know.
So, we will see.
Happy 2016, everybody. Let's make it a good one. We have the holiday sales on the newsletters and DVDs for just a short period of time. It's going to be done soon, so invest in your education. Maddie, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
I hope it continues in 2016. Don't ever change. Don't shave your head for anybody.
I won't, trust me.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you in the chat room in 2016.